of the stadium acknowledge me. Hello everyone and welcome to Kick It to Scoops. I'm your host Cooper, the sole admin of AFL information, trade rumors and results, and what a big show we've got lined up for you guys and girls today on Kick It to Scoops. Wow, what a weekend of football. There was some interesting results to say the least. And people wonder why I complain about the umpires week in and week out. They were absolutely ridiculous in the St Kilda Brisbane game and just as bad in the Collingwood North Melbourne game. Or were they? Or were they? And they were just as bad as in both. And I'm struggling to understand and comprehend some of the stupid decisions that were made in those two games in particular this week. But this is another reason why I single out the umpiring each and every week until they fix up their crap. I won't talk about it, but if they continue to be shit, they'll continue to be mentioned here. Okay? So, yeah. So on Scoops Goes Bang today, we've got three things to bang on about, including the All-Australian panel selecting their mid-season All-Australian team in their discussion. I've got a 3.5-minute clip here to show you shortly on them talking about some of their information and why Nathan Buckley is one of the only people in this clip making semi-sense as well. This was recorded after round 11, apparently, but it was only released late last week, so on the Wednesday or Thursday night. So when I go through that, I want to go through the umpiring. I'm going to go through particular decisions in the Saints game and in the Roos game. I've got all the notes written down. So, and I have some clips for some of those decisions. So, and we're going to rip right into all that very shortly. Also going to go through my team of the week, my Supercoach talk again. Supercoach this week, it was like, a bit of whatever, I guess. Not the greatest score, not the worst score. We'll go through that very, very shortly. We're going to go through my preview the rounds just gone and upcoming. The team of the week, I said, Supercoach talk, and my final thoughts. So, start off with this. You want me on Cameo? Head to cameo.com/Cooper G. Want me to roast a friend? Wish someone happy birthday? Anything at all, cameo.com/Cooper G. If you know any AFL, AFLW players, any up-and-coming draftees or any state league players, and you love someone on the podcast, and the Gold King Challenge or an interview, please send me a message. We'll try and get something sorted. As of right now, I don't really have any at all lined up, which is really disappointing. So if you know anyone, please send them a message, or anyone you would love to see me have on, send me a message on Instagram, AFL Info Live. And yeah, we'll go through all that. So I would greatly appreciate that. Alrighty. Oh, it's time for the world famous segment. Scoops Goes Bang. Boom. Well. Oh dear. The umpiring again was an absolute disgrace. And the All-Australian panel's reasonings for some of their selections was an absolute disgrace. Now, in the next clip you're about to see, we're going to go to the All-Australian bit first. You see Kane Corns on there. You see Laura Kane on there, Andrew Dillon, Nathan Buckley, Eddie Betts, Jude Bolton, except Josh Marnie, who used to work at Melbourne and at Essendon. He's at the AFL, I think, and you'll see him in there. And maybe Abby Holmes as well. And then maybe some others. I think they're all you see in the clip. But here is the clip, and we're going to analyse this particular part of the clip and potentially more in revolving the team and players they selected, because there's some players they picked that is absolutely horrendous. Here is the clip. Put down your thoughts down below. Let's go.
John Richards is a watch at this stage then, Bucks. What do you think?
I would,
They're not going to know we're alive.
Eddie, do you want to have a go Port Adelaide, Richmond and St Kilda?
Yeah, well, we'll go with St Kilda first. Marshall, Callum Winkie.
Marshall's numbers are going to look really good because he grabs the ball and he gets huge clearances, but I'm not sure they go anywhere. Like, he just grabs it and kicks it forward.
So your best three ruckmen are Gawn, Grundy, Witts.
Yeah.
As a
He's
watch.
probably fifth.
Darcy Cameron.
Darcy Cameron. So then we got four. And if we only go one ruckman, that's cool.
I had Brad Hill as a watch. Like, their best footy, they've only played snippets. He's involved. If they come good the back half of the year, I think he'll be involved heavily.
Tigers?
Yeah, with Vlossender, I think he's holding his own down there.
He's been good.
He's the best intercept mark nearly in the competition. Tough man entries. They get in there.
I've liked him.
I would say watch.
Yep.
But he deserves to be there on the form this year that I've seen. He wins his one-on-one.
Yeah. If we're looking
good
at
decision
60,
under pressure.
In the top 60.
On the orange.
I'm happy with him to be there, and we've still got half the year to go. So.
And then Port Adelaide.
Yeah. Zach Butters has had a super year. You know, Jason Horne-Francis having an amazing year. Like the way that he played last week, dominated against North Melbourne. Dan Houston off a half-back flank's doing really well. Controversies, injury.
They're the three. Butters,
top three.
Horne-Francis, Houston,
Yeah.
You the same, Jude?
Yeah, I had Butters as a lock, but then watch on Houston, Horne-Francis.
I'm the same. I had Butters as a lock and then Horne-Francis and Houston.
GWS, Jude.
Yeah, so I had Jesse Hogan in my team as a lock and Lockie Whitfield. And then I had watches on Tom Green. They've been a really tough one to judge because they're four dramatic. Like we're doing this 4 weeks ago. It'd be very different.
Very different.
I thought Toby Green's been right off at the start. He's come good in the last little bit, so I didn't have him
put him in
this
it
bid.
surprises me.
Who's that?
How can
I had
they
a
put
watch on
Toby
Sam
in?
Taylor. Josh Kelly was there, but he's going to miss 6 with the calf, so I didn't have him in. And then Jack Buckley as a watch as well.
What do you think, Abby?
I think Tom Green started well and has probably faded out a little bit throughout the middle part of the season. Jesse Hogan I had in, and then a watch on Sam Taylor and Lockie Whitfield, as you said as well, Jude. He's up there too in the conversation.
Yep.
It's a pity that Lockie Ash got injured because he was flying.
and Kelly, like on the wing. He would have been.
Yeah, well, Ash was flying in that role.
Yeah.
So probably almost an Ed Richards feel like if he comes back in and absolutely dominates.
So you wouldn't watch Toby?
You always got to watch Toby.
Just at the
Watch Toby
moment,
anyway.
I mean, he's always going to be a watch, being Toby Green, but...
He'd have to do
But
something.
just in terms of recency bias.
exactly.
His first half.
Yeah, I agree.
What's his position?
He hasn't earned it. He had a really good game on the weekend. He's probably had one of those when he normally has 6
Yeah.
at the same time.
I'm just trying to categorise who's in front of him right now. There's a lot.
Well, I'd put Stringer in front of him.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that.
But because they play a similar role, but yeah, let's let him change our mind.
Yeah.
So right there, you saw some common sense and you saw some stupidity. I have to believe the other person, by the way, in that crew was Scott Cummings. I think that's who it was, the former Eagle. He was part of the panels in the past, so I think that is him. Regardless, Kane Corn's talking out of garbage, and you know, one of the ones I wanted to bring up, he mentioned about players, not having an impact, yada yada yada. I think it's personally insulting the way he spoke about Rowan Marshall and the way he did. I mean, Rowan Marshall is a fantastic player. To say he just kicks it out is completely stupid. I love how Eddie Betts and Nathan Buckley in particular kept demanding and saying, no, you need to have Marshall. And they kept bringing up Darcy Cameron, which I'm sorry, which is pretty much an insult to Rowan Marshall. To even give Darcy Cameron the thought of being in that conversation is just absolutely laughable, if you ask me. Now, I have got the list in front of me about every player that was selected or discussed, whether they were a watch or a lock in their eyes. So I'm going to read out the names. So we're going to go through club by club here. So they discussed for Adelaide, Jordan Dawson and Isaac Rankin. Now, I'm not really having any major arguments. There's now Isaac Rankin. I know he's missed some games, came back on the weekend, did nothing. He'd be a question mark. Dawson's fair enough to be in the conversation. For Brisbane, they have Harris Andrews, Lockie Neal and Dane Zorko. I think that's an absolute disgrace that Harris Andrews is even considered in this role. Neal, even so to a degree, been better the last few weeks, but keep in mind this recorded around 11, by around 11. And Dane Zorko, whatever. Paddy Cripps, Charlie Kerner Mackay, and Nick Newman. I like the selection there of Nick Newman. But Harry Mackay in there, I'm sorry, to be even considered when you got all these other key forwards, just not worth it. Darcy Cameron in there is one of the most ridiculous ones of them all. In there, the Dacos brothers are there, fair enough. Brody Myercheck, that's an absolute laugh. And Pendlebury, I mean, honest to God, swear to God, that is just ridiculous. To see those three names even considered in this is quite laughable. And another one that's laughable is Sam Durham. No matter how good of a form he's had, he's not had an All-Australian worthy year. If even considered this quite a laugh as well. Kyle Langford's dropped off dramatically the last 4 weeks. I don't see him featuring in there. Nick Martin, he gets a lot of cheap touches. Andrew McGrath, for this, is just ridiculous as well. Ben Mackay in this conversation is quite laughable. I mean, Zach Merritt is fair enough. Jake Stringer's laughable. Albeit, like Kane said, he's probably been better than Toby Green. But in saying that was for round 11. But now, probably not. Luke Jackson in this conversation is quite a laugh when you got Marshall and you got Gawn as the two best rucks this year. It's quite laughable. Alex Pearce, interesting. Luke Ryan, fair enough. Sarong and Hayden Sarong, fair enough. Hayden Young, I wouldn't go that far. Jeremy Cameron dropped off. Max Holmes, again, has he been that good for All-Australian? Nick Vlauston, no. Brad Hill, no. Nope, he's been too inconsistent for me. Ryan Marshall, definitely in the conversation. Cal Wilkie, the same. Nick Blakey, yeah, okay, maybe in the squad. Ollie Florent, no. Brodie Grundy, no. But for the squad, fair enough. Errol Goulden, yep. Will Hayward, no. Isaac Heaney, yes. Rowbottom, no. Chad Warner, yeah, fair. Tom Barras, no. Liam Duggan, no. Jeremy McGovern, yeah, that's a question mark. I wouldn't be against that. Jake Waterman, fair enough. He's dropped off the last 3 weeks and missed a few weeks, so he'd be a question mark now. Elliot Yeo, no. Ed Richards, no. Bailey Dale, no, because he missed about 4 weeks, unless he keeps his form up. And Bonampelli, don't get me started on him, who should not be in the conversation at all. You know, you can have one good game every 3 weeks and then automatically be in the contention. So that's their list. You will see my mid-season scoops rolling All-Australian team next week on the show. So look forward to that. So this squad that they pick is just quite laughable. It really, I just don't know how the hell they come up with this crap. Like, seriously, some of the players they named there is ridiculous. Some players that are mentioned there is like, where's so-and-so in the conversation, at least. It's just quite ridiculous, to say the least. Jack Higgins will have to be in that conversation. Yes, he's missed 3 games, but he's got the most goals of any small forward right now, Jack Higgins. Whether you like it or not, as Liv Morgan says, if you don't like it, you can go cry about it. It's not an opinion, it's a fact of life. Yeah. It's not an insult, it's just a fact of life. Yeah. So, yeah, that's what's going on. Now, the next thing I want to go on about is the umpiring the Saints Brisbane game. Now, I've got 6 dot points here, okay, to go through. Now, it was on Friday night, so it was a while ago, but Lachie Neale was gifted all his free kicks that he got. Marcus Winhager is him. He beat Lachie Neale again. Windy done a great job. I don't understand the carry on again for this. Like, they're watching him get pulled and that. Mate, you just give him freeze for him for the sake of giving him freeze. I get if a player's getting pushed and shoved and everything like that, but he didn't earn any of the free kicks that he was actually given, which is quite laughable and favouritism towards Brisbane and very disrespectful towards Marcus Winhager, who's doing his job, tagging one of the best players in the competition, a former 2-time Brownlow medalist. So, he's doing his job. Never got out of line, and I think the umpiring towards that, at least, was absolute bullshit. Now, the free kick against Mitch Owens, that wasn't in the goal square out of set of bounds. No warning was given, and they automatically got a goal from the set of bounds and went in 50-mark goal. Like, that was huge and costly late in the game. How the hell? Where was the warning? Okay. Mitch Owens, after the goal, he wasn't in the goal square. Okay, whatever. So it's a warning, right? Because St Kilda hadn't had their warning. Like, you know what? Like, I just don't understand it. Like, how is that a free to Brisbane straight up? I don't care what the rule is. If that's even a rule, how can that be a rule? Why is everything else a warning then, but not that? That makes 0 sense. It's quite ridiculous, to say the least, of all that they're doing. It's quite disgraceful. So that's 2. Brisbane got multiple goals that they kicked from frees that didn't go towards the kill, like dropping the ball, etc. It was just ridiculous. There was a centre bounce. The ball flies out of the centre square to Brisbane on advantaging them, not recall. They get a goal from it. Absolute ridiculous. Hipwood, Marshall got blocked on by McInerney when he looked 5 seconds before he came to him. So like Marshall was, the ball was getting kicked in the 50. Marshall's turned around to go see where McInerney is, and McInerney just blocked his run, and McInerney got the free. Like, that is just ridiculous. Again, another one favouring Brisbane that resulted in another goal from them. And then it's another one here. 2 clips I've got to show you, and these are the next I've got to show you. And these 2 are bad as well. First off, here is the Rowan Marshall one where Caminiti supposedly pushed Eric Hipwood. And in fact, it should be a free to Marshall for being blocked off the ball. And the Brisbane player, I think it was Hipwood or McInerney, not having their eyes on the ball, and they were just looking at the player. And if that's what St Kilda got pinned for, why the hell was this not pinned for? And Brisbane got a goal out of this.
Goes fast with this ball. Rainer to the back. Now Hipwood's going to go to Hipwood anyway for a push. Hipwood second of the term. That's a better kick.
Like, look at that, everyone. Hipwood took his eyes off the ball and smashed into Marshall, and he got the free. What the hell is that for? It's another goal they got from something that shouldn't have happened. And then Hipwood got another free for a push by Caminiti when he didn't even touch him, and they got a goal out of that. I've just shown you told you about 5 times they got goals from frees that weren't given to us, or frees they got that they shouldn't have got. Blatant and utter cheating at the Gabba. And this one ruined the game and robbed the St Kilda Football Club of a chance to win the game. Saints last one went bang, 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 bang. And this clip, not only resulted in another Brisbane goal, but also resulted in costing us the bloody game. Watch the clip and see the time and everything in the corner. This is absolute rubbish.
25 and closing. They get the goal. Wow. What about that? They're back within single fingers. Lost all of their forward structure, Brisbane. Into the middle, Zorko. Beautifully to Morris. They've got to keep trying to score, Richard. Yeah, I know they do. 50. Oh. Big set shot. And he has slaughtered it.
So you see there, everyone, you heard James Brayshaw say, "Oh no," and BT and co. And if you watch the footage in full, you would see that. Like, very convenient that this clip I got from the AFL website, they clipped out the bit where the commentary were bagging their decision there. Very convenient of you to cut that part out. Like that 6:48 to go. Logan Morris gets a goal that he doesn't deserve. And that is about the 6th goal they got that they didn't deserve. We lost by 20 points. We were robbed right in front of me. I was proud of our effort, which I'll get to in the review. But those clips and those ones I mentioned all robbed us right in front of me. Those umpires should be sacked immediately. And the umpires from one of the previous games that screwed someone over that didn't get dropped. Typical of the AFL. So clubs drop players for having shit performances, but you don't drop umpires for having shit performances. And they have shit performances week in and week out. Lift your game. Pathetic. Just like the All-Australian Selection Panel. Pathetic. Lift your game as well. And another one that's going to lift their game is the umpires in the Collingwood North Melbourne game, where North Melbourne were robbed right in front of me. Now, I want to stress enough that North did choke a 54-point lead. All right? That is on them. Okay? I don't care how young they are. That is on them. Okay? Then they lost the lead to the Collingwood, then got the lead back, And that's when the robbery got worse and worse. Right in front of me. I do not know, again, where to start here for this one. More robbery, more bullshit, more match fixing, whatever you want to call it. So, controversies galore. Nick Dacos dropped the ball right in front of the goals about, I don't know, it was around the 2 minutes mark. I'm going to show you the clip in a second where they were robbed. North Melbourne have a chance to score a goal from like 15 minutes directly from the last few minutes. They would have won. All over Red Rover. No, didn't pay it, of course. Typical. Because you guessed it, folks. It's Nick Dacos. This is what I want you people to understand. How many times have I said that the AFL play favourites and they pick and choose who they like and who they want to give frees and not give frees to? I mean, I'm sorry if you've been living under a rock for so long, but I've been telling you this for a very long time. That's what they do. And now people are starting to finally, slowly catch on. And even some people haven't caught on. Face it. Watch the games. The same players get favoured all the time. The same players get overreactions for their games. Like if someone has a good kick, if it's a standard play, it's like, oh yeah. Or they say nothing. Or when it's with their favourites, they go, oh my God, what a kick from so-and-so. It's like, get off it. Like, come on. Be transparent in the AFL. Laura Kane, Andrew Dillon, what are you running at the moment? It's an embarrassment that how you're operating. People had to talk about Gill. Well, Andrew Dillon and Laura Kane aren't doing a good job at all. So, and then, actually, let me write this down before I forget. They talked about the mid-season draft and father-son stuff, which I'm actually going to get into as well. That's going to be late inclusion, mid-season trade, and father-son and academies. We're going to get to that next. So, yeah. So, Nick Dacos dropped the ball so many times. Not given. And the favoritism was utterly ridiculous. I mean, and then we have, Darcy Tucker missing a chance, snapping it, didn't score at all. Zach Fisher in the last 5 seconds. The 950-metre penalty not paid to North late, which, by the way, the AFL said was the right call. Piss off, that was the right call. The umpire in question should not have paid a 50. That is ridiculous. The two Collingwood, that should have been 50, sorry, against side bottom, and I think it was Jeremy Howe. That should have been 50. They both went over the mark so far over Bailey Scott, and then he had to run around. They said he played on or some shit. Get off it, seriously. He didn't play on. He played on when both those two Collingwood players ran at him to tackle him. That's when he moved. That is rubbish. And Bailey Scott would have had a shot from about 30 out on a little bit of an angle and probably would have scored it, and they definitely would have won from then. So North, again, were robbed right in front of me. Now, Cam Zurhaar going to 50. I don't rate Cam Zurhaar at all, especially right now. And he had an opportunity to pass. I think it was to Bailey Scott. Out forward to someone else. I think it was Eddie Ford or whoever, Paul Curtis, or Larky, whoever it was, Toby Pink. Had the chance to go over the top, okay? And then 50. Bailey Scott was out the side. And then he could have kicked it over. And they could have, then the other guy leaves him and then he goes over and yada, yada, yada. You know the gist of what I'm saying. He kicks the goal, right? And then that was a goal. And then we don't really talk about some of this stuff. But that was a crucial moment that Cam Zurhaar failed in another big moment, did Cam Zurhaar. And then the handball to Bailey Scott, I think it was a basic 10-metre handball from Cam. And he stuffed up, handballed it at the feet of Bailey Scott, and then nothing really happened because of the shit handball. So there's opportunities that North stuffed themselves, but the umpires robbed the big time. The umpires robbed North Melbourne right in front of me. Okay, they did. Now, speaking of the two bullshit calls, the Jeremy Howe side bottom over the mark on Bailey Scott one, and the Nick Dacos holding the ball that he didn't pay. You can see them both clips in one hit. Watch the clips, and if you tell me that this ain't 50, and if you tell me that's not holding the ball, you don't know what you're talking about.
McDonald not as sure as he would have liked to be. Dacos, Scott, 50. That's got to be 50.
Yeah, he looked like he was going to play on.
He's played on now. Gives it everything he's got to full forward. Zerha couldn't climb at the right moment. Dacos, careful. He was tackled and he wasn't ready for Nick Dacos.
Got on the right foot. No right foot.
Oh, he's a bit careful here. Power. It's 50. It's too late to...
Now, that one there, and the last one, that's another one that was bullshit. And, of course, who got it? Nick Dacos, Tom Powell. What was Tom Powell meant to do in that moment, gents and ladies? Like, what was he meant to do? He throws the ball to Nick Dacos, who's not looking. He throws it on the ground. The other guy goes, 50, you didn't throw it to the man. So he waits for Nick Dacos to turn around and then instantly throws it to Nick once Nick Dacos turns around, and they pay 50 anyway. What was he meant to do in that spot? Drop the ball, and they go, 50, you didn't pass it to him properly. He wasn't looking. He did the right thing. He waited for Nick Dacos to turn around and gave it to him straight away. That is not 50. That's bullshit. Now, the two clips that we just spoke about before the clip played was the 50-metre penalty one to Bailey Scott. You saw the two Pies players run at him. That is bullshit. Another decision where North got robbed right in front of me. And then Nick Dacos one of the first ones you just saw in that clip. That was holding the ball. Went around one. Wardlaw and Zerha tackled him, and nothing happened, and that was late in the game. Absolute crap. Two clubs got robbed this week. St Kilda and North Melbourne both got robbed right in front of me. Absolute crap. Anyone that says and disputes any of those decisions that I've just brought up and said the opposite of what I said, I don't think you need to. I think you should go follow another sport. Like, that's just ridiculous, quite frankly. The AFL, to the umpires, to Laura Kane and Andrew Dillon, lift your game, pathetic. Now, Laura Kane isn't finished here. She was on SEN in the last few days, and they were talking about the mid-season trade period, and she's like, not many clubs, are keen on it. Very convenient that a few aren't interested in it. It's the ones that are at the top of the food chain that aren't interested in it. If you don't get the food chain reference, it's a wrestling reference. They say the top of the chain, top of the food chain. They're not interested. The clubs at the bottom and whatever are more interested. It is the typical top clubs. They want their own favourites, but they won't be fair for the comp. Typical. And now, this one, the father-son beating in academies. Wow. By the way, I would love a mid-season trade period. More content, and I love the trade period. And mid-season one, it'll be interesting, at least to see how it experimented for a year at least. Half-year contracts and all that, which I mentioned in the past. But for this, I don't know what to tell you. I really don't. Going to change the system. You heard the saying, Laura Kane, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Leave things alone. The things you don't change are the ones that needs to be changed. The ones you're trying to change don't need to be changed. You know what needs to be changed? Someone else needs to be in charge. And it ain't Laura Kane, and it ain't Andrew Dillon. It should be, go back to Gill. I don't care. It is rubbish. Their decisions are rubbish. Plain and simple. Their decisions are rubbish. And quite embarrassing. And they come out today defending that umpire's decision on the Jeremy Howe, the side bottom, whoever it was in that mark of the two Pies players around at Bailey Scott, and said it was fine, and the umpire was fine in basically what he did, and that he should have blown it quicker or something crap, but the decision was right or some rubbish. So defending it, trying to make it look like they're not fully admitting they're wrong, but they really are saying they're all right, and they're not right. They're wrong. I just wish the AFL would leave things that don't need to be changed. That's all. Just leave things alone. Change what needs to be changed, but don't change things that don't need to be changed. It's pretty simple, Laura and Andrew. Leave it alone. Come on. Pathetic. To everyone that's been roasted in this segment, lift your game. Pathetic. Hope you guys and girls enjoyed that long, extensive, lengthy edition of the world-famous segment, Scoops Goes Bang. Want to aim for 20 likes to this video. If you agree that North Melbourne or St Kilda or both were robbed, smash the like button if you haven't already. Share the video around, leave a comment, etc. And subscribe if you haven't already. Would greatly appreciate it. Want to aim for 3K subscribers by the end of the year. Alrighty, now let's now go through my round 14 AFL Team of the Week. Alrighty. From the back line, the pockets, Bailey Dale and Lachlan Bramble. Full back, Mitch Hinge. Half back line, the flankers, Jack Sinclair. Other flanker, Dan Houston. We don't have a problem. Centre half back, James Sicily. Wingers, Errol Goulden and Hugh McCluggage. Centerman, Isaac Heaney. Our forward line, the flankers, Marbiol Chol and Lockie Schultz. Centre forward, Joel Amati. Forward line, the forward line, the flank, the pockets, Jack Higgins and Riley West. And full forward, Joe Danaher. Ruckman, Brody Grundy. Rovers, Josh Kelly and Rory Laird. Interchange, George Wardlaw, Rory Lobb, Tim Tarento, Bobby Hill, and Marcus Bontempelli. Emergencies, Nick Larkey, Cam Zerhard, Nick Dacos, and Tom Green. Reasons, quite frankly, those four that I named emergency, Tom Green didn't think he had his best game despite having 30 touches. Nick Dacos didn't turn up for 3 quarters when Will Phillips tagged him. It did well. Cam Zerhard, 3 goals, 19 touches, didn't deserve it. Larkey kicked 4 or 5, but he kicked 4 in 1 quarter and did nothing for the rest of the game. So that's why none of them got in. There's even some players on the bench, to be honest, that I didn't feel like deserved. I was tossing a turn, in particular between George Wardlaw and Tim Tarano and Bobby Hill. I'm like, do they really deserve to be in there? But yeah, and Bontempelli to a degree. But yeah, reasons for the team on the field. I went lighter in key defenders. So there wasn't really that many to be honest to choose from. I thought that Bailey, the flankers, and the taller backman options like a Dale and Hinge and Sicily and Houston can play on taller guys if need be. And Sinclair and Bramble can be the runners. Gordon and McCluggage deserved a spot on the wing. Isaac Heaney was in the spot that he was in. As well, he played a lot of midfield this week and deserved a spot there as the team on the screen. But yeah, then so yeah, that's a team. Marbiel Chol kicked 4. Joel Amati kicked 9, was fantastic. Joe Dana kicked 5 for 20 touches. Higo kicked 5 for 14 touches or something like that with 6 marks. Lockie Schultz kicked 4 and was really good. Riley West kicked 4 and was really good. Brody Grundy had 30 disposals for a ruckman, like 49 hitouts was a lock. Josh Kelly and Rory Laird were good. Laird 34, Kelly 27 and a goal. Wardlaw kicked a goal and 30. Lobb kicked 3 and 19. Bontempelli had 3 and 30, although 6 turnovers, people. Tim Tarano kicked a goal and had 28 or so. Bobby Hill kicked 5. So yeah, that's my team. Let me know your thoughts down below on my AFL team of the week. Alrighty, now it's time let's go. What are we going to do now? We're going to go through my Supercoach talk. So for Supercoach this week, I actually scored pretty decent now. I reflect on it a little bit more. 1,885, top 26%. So went up 1% or so. So I'm a bit happy with that. But I got a lot of plays out this week. I got 8 plays out this week. If Butters is suspended for a week, which is a bit interesting. Hopefully Zach Butters gets off because he's in my Supercoach team. But he did hit my other Supercoach player in Tom Green, so naughty. Zach Butters, but hopefully he gets it off just for my Supercoach alone. Okay. Porter in trouble. But yeah, it is what it is. We have a new leader too in first place. I'm going to get it up just to make sure that this person that told me they're on top or near the top aren't lying to me. But in my Scoops League, let's have a look, shall we? I'm 139th. I went up 4 spots. Yep, Declan is first, which is Rowan the Saints. Second place is Rolls Macca. Third place is Andrew, which is M3. In fourth place, we have Zach. Fifth place, we have Justin, who I believe is up there for the first time with a massive score. He got a decent score. And people that we know of, Shano is 11th. We have, where are we? We have Studi at 26 and Graz at 30. So they're the ones of note of where they are on the leaderboard. Thoughts on your Supercoach? Any questions you got? I'm going to have to do 3 trades this week. I got 11. Got a bunch of plays with the bye, which is really frustrating, to be honest. I'm considering, getting rid. I want to get Ari Showmaker, but I have to wait till next week, most likely. A lot of people bringing him in this week, but I would have had him in had St Kilda the bye last week. I would have brought him in with no hesitation whatsoever. But yeah, I'm looking at the Fraser, the type, the Will Dawson to get rid of, the Darcy Jones potentially, but he's almost back now, so I might even just hold him. Malira will be back after some personal reasons, so wish Nasiah all the best. And yeah, then everything. Toby Pink maybe to show and make eventually, so Toby can make some more cash, another 15, 20k this week, and use that for next week most likely. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on your Supercoach team down below. Any questions you got? And Instagram, AFL Info Live. That is the place mainly where to ask me your questions. Now, let's go review the round 14 games. It started up at the Gabba on Friday night. It was the Saints and the Lions. The Saints got robbed right in front to me. Marcus Winhager is him. He did a great job on Lockie Neal. Didn't have any major influence on the game at all. Now, Jack Steele was well helped by Jared Berry, who didn't do much himself, unfortunately for Steely, the man of steel. But, not Malira. Showmaker was great on debut. 18 disposals. He should have the rising start this round. As of this recording, it's not officially announced. He better have it, though. I'm pissed if he doesn't. And then we got, guys like Sinclair was terrific goal in 32 or 34, sorry. Higo kicked 5, as I said. Max King was up and about. He kicked 3. Butler had his moments in the game, which were very important, like the rundown tackle. Oh, by the way, people are crying to me, going, oh, damn, Butler, what a dirty trip. He did that on purpose. Nah. He did not do it on purpose. He fell over trying to tackle the player. He was trying to tackle the player. He fell over, hence why he caught the leg of the Brisbane player. I think it was Zorko. And quite frankly, then I watched it back a little bit. I don't think he even really touched him. But yeah. And by the way, how the hell did Paddy Dow get fined for the umpire running into him? I've seen this a few times now where players are getting run into by the umpires and they're copping the fine. How does that work? That is not fair. And the umpire went off. I don't know if that umpire came back on. Maybe if he did his job properly, which, by the way, they failed to do. But if he'd done his job properly and ran in the right direction, he would have ran into Paddy Dow. So maybe he should be fined for doing his job wrong. How about that? But, Higo was terrific. Sinclair. Battle and Wilkie had to play a different role when Cordy was subbed off. And Caminiti played at backline. I'm not so sure about that. Leave Hammer up forward. He had to play on Danaher, and he kicked 5 in the end. Undersized. Doesn't know when Dougal Howard was out, our tallest key defender, who would have matched up on Danaher, and Danaher wouldn't have had that impact at all if Dukes was playing. But yeah, Battle and Wilkie didn't really get to do their intercepting as much. So Ari Showmaker was playing as well. His first game did really well. I was so pleased to see Tom Campbell finally hitting over 600 days since his last AFL game. He's the best player that's on an AFL list. That's a ruckman that's playing reserves every week. He deserves it. And I'm shocked Ross did. Cooper Sherman was a tactical laid out, who ended up playing VFL the next day and did okay. But it's just Ross. Does this prove to you, mate, what I've been saying this entire time? Play Marshall and Campbell together. Marshall can play up forward. He's a bloody good forward, Marshall. Campbell's not the worst ruckman that plays up forward as well. You saw the clearances. It was like 13-1 in the first quarter. Half of them was because of Tom Campbell. Play him every week, Ross. Play them both together. Absolutely, they should both be playing together every week from now on for the rest of the year. Play Showmaker for the rest of the year. I said this from the round 1 he should have been playing, the steal of this year's draft. Not because of that game alone, because I told you so, and I knew this would happen, and he's far better than when he was drafted at. I was happy with the way we scored, the way we played. But, we really deserved this win. I mean, I don't like honourable losses. Technically on the scoreboard it says we lost, but quite frankly, I don't feel like we lost. I think the umpires stuffed us about as usual, and we were robbed right in front of me. For Brisbane, McClay kicked 2 goals late in the first quarter, did really good in the second and third, but he wasn't cited in the last quarter. Now, I know he was in my team of the week, but there wasn't really many to pick from, as I alluded to earlier. But yeah, we were robbed right in front of me, plain and simple. And if we don't make finals, I'm blaming that game and the Geelong game as to why we didn't make it. Unacceptable. I don't like when umpires ruin games. Speaking of Brisbane, congratulations to Harris Andrews, who will play game 200 this week. And for Melbourne, Lockie Hunter will play game 200 if he plays. Congratulations to the former Saint Jade Gresham, who will play game 150 this week for the Bombers. Also, if he does play, Jack Martin for game 150. So they're the big milestone games for this round. So congratulations to those gents, in particular, Jade Gresham for game 150. Well done, Gresh. Wish you were back at the Saints, mate. But here we are. As I said, Joe Danaher kicked 5 and had 20 disposals. He was really good. He was clearly their best player. And McClellan just said had his moments as well. Now, the next game we're going to go through, which was the Saturday games. First off, it is, let's get it up. It was the Bulldogs and Freo. And what the hell for Fremantle? Bulldogs 149, Freo 82, Western Bulldogs with 67 points. Western Bulldogs fans need to calm down. You aren't that good. You had a good game, and that's all it is, and that's all it's ever going to be. You've had some good games, and you've had some garbage games, which shows the inconsistency of the team. Beveridge won't be the coach after this year, so whatever. They might fix it, maybe not. If he stays, it's not going to fix it. Why is Caleb Daniel the sub? Like, yeah, I know you won, yada, 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 and you got lucky, but if you lost, then you'd be questioning why he was the sub. And I'll question that. How does an All-Australian player continue to be the sub like Dale was for weeks upon weeks, and then it was dropped as well? Beveridge doing his stupid decisions, brought in Anthony Scott recently and dropped Riley Garcia from Bulldogs, who kicked a goal and 23 touches last week, had decent efficiency in score involvements, and he gets dropped for Anthony Scott. Like, come on. Like, Beveridge is just making these stupid decisions. They're just lucky they won and that the team clicked on the day, because Adam Treloar, show some respect to Adam Treloar. He's never got the respect from the public in the media in particular. I give Adam Treloar the appreciation that he deserves, but a lot of people do not. People keep frothing over a certain Bulldogs midfielder. But what about Adam Treloar? He's been their best player all year, by far. No one is even close at the Bulldogs to Adam Treloar this year. He's been terrific. Adam's a great person, a great player, and doesn't get appreciated, as much as he should from basically almost anyone. I don't hear anyone pumping up Adam Treloar to the way that I feel that he should be. It's very underrated and should be a lock for All-Australian this year. There's a spoiler for you next week, my All-Australian mid-season All-Australian team. Unless he gets injured for 10 weeks, then he's going to guarantee to pretty much make it, unless he does nothing for 10 weeks. But we'll see. I'll be shocked. Now, Fremantle, they were useless. Absolutely useless. Josh Tracy missed some of the most easiest goals you could get. I would have got those goals. I mean, you watch any of my Golden Challenges, I kick goals from the pockets, from wherever, and Josh Tracy missed from where he missed, and that's just quite embarrassing. That's not an insult, that's just a fact of life. Yeah. Now, also, the Bulldogs-Freo game, I must say that, the performances of Rory Lobb, a guy that's been questioned, it was great to see him kick 3, had 19 disposals, and the Bulldogs whipping boy did really well on the weekend. Now, Richmond and Hawthorn, again, I want to mention this again, like I mentioned on the post and throughout the podcast in the week. I'm going to say this again for the clowns that say that I didn't say this. Congratulations to Dustin Martin on game 300, a huge achievement at the Tigers. Kicked a good goal early, it's great to see. But his side did not turn up against the Hawks, and it was absolutely disgraceful from the players. 49, Hawthorn 97. Hawthorn by 48 points. It was just unacceptable from the Hawks. From the Tigers. They were absolutely rubbish. No player did well at all, besides maybe Jaden Short. But they're unacceptable for Hawks. Marby Old kicked 4, did really well. James Sicily was 33 disposals, like 12 intercept possessions and marks, etc., and 1%ers. He was awesome. James Sicily, back to his All-Australian best. It's James Sicily in intercepting best. In saying that, though, Richmond don't have any good key forwards. So, it's you can see him doing well without that. Now, the next game we're going to go through is, where are we? Adelaide and Sydney. Adelaide 67, Crows, Sydney 109. The Swans by 42 points. Now, if you watch the game, you will know the Crows were they were in the lead for the most part of the first half. And the Swans just went bang, bang, bang. And by bang, 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 I mean Joel Amati went bang in front of the goals, kicking 9. I think he kicked 9 of their last 12 goals. So he was just in insane form, Joel Amati. Mark Keane was on him. It didn't do nothing. Jordan Bartz was on him. Didn't do nothing. I mean, I don't fully blame Mark Keane for this performance. He's been a really good year for a guy who missed a year of footy, had a year off when he went back home to Ireland. The delivery, though, to Joel Amati was fantastic from Heaney and Warner and Goulden, etc., and Rowbottom and Florin and Papley and Grundy. So, like, it was hard to defend. Still no full excuse, but I'll give him a little bit of an excuse, I guess, for that. But still not good enough. He won't be dropped. He's had a good year. And I'm sure that'll never happen again for Joel Amati. And it won't happen against Mark Keane ever again. If it does, he'll find himself out of the team pretty quickly. Rory Laird was the Crows' best player as well by far. Mitch Hinge was really good too. Despite stuff up late in the third quarter, I think it was, it stuffed it up a little bit. But other than that, he did really well. Now, the game, we're not going to talk about the robbery again. North Melbourne, Collingwood. North Melbourne 118, Collingwood 119. The Pies by a point. I mean, no one can blame themselves bar North Melbourne for the choking a 54-point lead. It's unacceptable. The umpiring is bullshit. They robbed North Melbourne multiple occasions. If Zach Fisher kicked that goal and if Darcy Tucker kicked that goal late and Cam Zurhaar didn't be a hack and missed the basic 1-2 pass over the top, he passes then over the next guy, kick a goal, they win. But yeah, outside of those, the umpires robbed them. LDU was good. George Waller was good for most of the game, but he didn't turn up in the last quarter. I was this close not to putting him in my team of the week, as I mentioned earlier. Nick Clarke kicked 4 or 5, but to be honest, I don't think he did anything, hence why he wasn't in my team of the week. He hit it all in one quarter in the start and did absolutely nothing after that. He hardly touched it, 0 impact, and when the going got tough, Nick Clarke wasn't seen at all. Bobby Hill kicked 5, was terrific. Nick Dacos had a great last quarter. I should have mentioned a little bit earlier. I mentioned it, but I didn't detail it. Why was Will Phillips subbed off Clark? I heard the excuse of fatigue, or he wanted to add a bit more run to the game. I mean, you could have subbed off any of those tall players, Bryn Teakle, Toby Pink, Callan Dawson, anyone. But you subbed off a guy who, by the way, who's been treated like crap at North Melbourne, who was a former third pick in a draft only 4 years ago, Will Phillips. Inconsistencies in terms of getting games, subbed out. And the game, he stops the best player in the game in Nick Davis for 3 quarters and you sub him off due to fatigue and wanting more run. Clarko, you stuffed up and you try to use that as an excuse, fatigue and run and all this shit in your presser. Just made it sound even more stupid, Clarko. I'm sorry. You may be premiership coach, but you made a dumb call right there. And I'm not the only one saying that. That's not an insult. That's just affected life, Clarko. Yeah. Now, that probably cost him the game. Liam Shields is 34 years old or something. He had a great career, Liam Shields, but how he was running with the best player in the game, who's very quick and skillful and smart, that's just dumb coaching from Clarko and the crew. Now, the final game, GWS and Port. What a boring game this was. Absolute snooze fest. GWS 73, Wale 51, 22 points to the Giants. I mean, the games at Giants Stadium, I'm going to start questioning the atmosphere. It's real dead, it sounds. It's like really dead. I don't know what the hell they got to do to fix it, but that it's so dead, so boring. The goal kicking was horrendous. Mitch Georgiades kicked 3-1. He was like one of the only guys on the field that knew how to kick a bloody goal. Toby Green kicked like 1-5. Hogan kicked like 1-2. Riccardi got like a couple points. Like no one knew how to kick straight, really. Josh Kelly kicked a great goal late, which sealed the deal for them. He was really good. Harry Himmelberg had his moments. Tom Green was all right, but not for the team of the week, though. The 4 players at Port Adelaide, 3 of them that get picked in, week out, Soldo, Radicalia, and Zerk Thatcher. How they get a game is quite laughable, really. Soldo's no good. Dante Vicentini might as well get a game over him and Sweet. And then don't get me started on Radicalia and Zerk Thatcher, who don't deserve a game. We got Cleary and McKenzie that should be playing ahead of them. Cleary is available at the moment. And I understand, though, that Trent McKenzie's been out injured, but they haven't even considered him when he wasn't injured for those 2 players. But yeah, unacceptable from Port. It is what it is. Unacceptable behaviour. And I know some poor fans are very pissed off. If it's a Butters decision, well, we'll have to wait and see what happens at the tribunal. I'm sure they'll be appealing that for sure. The Roos. Callum Dawson, by the way, has copped a 1-week suspension. Now, we're going to go review the round. Okay. We got some breaking news. The round 14 NAB Rising Star winner for round 14 is Harvey Thomas. He was robbed early in the year, like round 2 or 3 when he should have got it. But how the hell has Ari Showmaker not got this week? Don't give me they do this off a bulk of form bullshit, because that's a crock of crap. That is not how they do that. Now, what did Harvey Thomas do? He had 15 touches and 5 tackles. I think Ari Showmaker in his first game against Brisbane in the Gabba against a strong team, 19 disposals, like 8 marks, booming left foot kick, decent accuracy. How the hell he didn't get it was quite laughable. And a Brisbane forward line that's got, consistent Hipwood and Danaher and Rayner and Bailey and Charlie Cameron. How he did not get it. And Kyle Lohmann, who's in good form as well, don't forget. How Ari Showmaker didn't get it is cried a crime. Another robbery right in front of me. Rubbish. Ridiculous bullshit. Now, let's go review the games. This is the final week of the stupid buys. No one likes the buy rounds. The teams that have the buy this week are the Saints, the Crows, the Pies, the Hawks, the Bulldogs, and the Tigers. So we'll start off this Friday night at the MCG, 7:40 Victorian time. It's Carlton hosting Geelong. I'll have Carlton to win by 20 points. And my big call for this game is that Charlie Curnow and Harry Mackay will kick 11 goals between them. That's a big one. I think Sam De Koning's in terrible form, so I have to wait and see. And they've got no other defenders at tall height. Carlton by 25. Mackay and Curnow to combine for 11 goals. I think Charlie's sniffing 6 goals this week. Saturday afternoon at the Adelaide Oval, 1:45 Vic Thomas, Port Adelaide hosting the Lions. I'm going to go the Lions in this game if Butters is out. And I think if he's in, I'm still tipping Brisbane by 5 points. My big call for this game is that Jared Berry will tag out whoever he's on, whether it's Butters, Rosie, or Horn Francis. Do the good job. They've been in terrible form, those three. Rosie, Butters, and Horn Francis in the last 3 weeks, particularly Butters, who's been tagged all 3 weeks, has done absolutely nothing. And I know that because I've had him in Supercoach, so I'm not pleased. And I don't want him suspended because it's a Supercoach as well. The next game to go through, Saturday twilight at Giant Stadium, which is what I refuse to call it. It's out of the name. It's Giant Stadium. Saturday, 4:35, the Battle at the Bridge, the Derby. Giants. Oh, it's not the Derby. The Battle of the Bridge. Giants hosting the Swans. I'm going to tip the Swans by 1 point. My big call is that Isaac Heaney, Chad Warner, and Errol Goulden all to combine for under 90 disposals. I think the Giants are going to do some work on those 3, and they're going to have under 90 disposals. Saturday night at the MCG, we have Melbourne hosting North Melbourne, 7:30 Vic time, Saturday night. This is a danger game for Melbourne. They're not in the greatest of form. North are finally doing something good the last 2 weeks. And Melbourne are in terrible form. You go watch the game in Alice Springs, which was their last game. So Melbourne will not want to lose this. I'm going to tip Melbourne by 15 points. My big call is that Nick Larkey will kick 6 in a losing effort. That is my prediction. Even with May there, especially if Lieber doesn't play. Remember, it's a bold call for a reason. The 2 games on Sunday. Sunday, 1 o'clock at Marvel Stadium. It's Essendon hosting West Coast. You know what? I'm tipping... I'm going... Okay, I'll go Essendon. I'll go Essendon by 15 points. My big call is that Zach Merritt will have under 25 disposals and they'll still win the game. All right, the final game to go through is Fremantle hosting Gold Coast at Optus Stadium, 4 o'clock Victorian time, Freo and Gold Coast. I'm going to tip the Suns, not the Dockers, the Gold Coast Suns to win by 12 points. Ben King had to scare at training, so hopefully he's all good and plays this week. He should play, they said, hopefully. My big call will be that Alex Sexton and Sam Flanders both get between 30 and 35 disposals this week. It's my bold call. My final thoughts are simply this. You want me on Cameo, head to cameo.com/Cooper G. You want me to roast a friend with someone having a birthday, anything at all, cameo.com/Cooper G. And if you know any AFL, AFLW players, any up-and-coming draftees, or any state league players, and love some on the podcast and Gold King Challenge or an interview, please send me a message or try and get something sorted. Please send me the message on Instagram, preferably AFL Info Live, or Facebook, AFL Information, Trade Rumours and Results, which has over 56,000 followers, and Instagram, which has over 4,000. And this YouTube channel, please subscribe also if you haven't already. All right, thank you all. The most important thing of all to remember is go the Saints. And, of course, acknowledge me, the one, and all aboard the Filippo train, then, now, forever.